Well, good morning, everyone. Everyone doing all right on this wet day? Well, it's not raining now, but we got good rain. We've got good rain. So I just want to thank everybody for coming on out this morning on this wet day in March. Let's make sure everybody signs in as well. Denise, do you have a sign-in sheet or is it being passed around? Okay, good. So we'll make sure that we have it. So we're in a new venue today. We're over at the Lakes Fire Recreation Center. And I want to say thank you all. This is probably, Chief, we might have to do it over here all the time. Yeah. This is a much better, look at the times we're getting in here. And we got more coming through the door. This is great. This is great. For all those online, I just want to thank you all for joining in. Let's get right to it. We've got some good items here, and they're more from a state level that I want to give you all a little update on. Well, first we'll go over the agenda. We have an ATL board update that's going to be presented on Tuesday night at the agenda of our work session. Work session is at 6 o'clock. No items will be voted on that day. We also, I have been meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm proposing a sports council to begin to really spur economic growth in our county. So they're going to also present that as well to the board on Tuesday. We have a proposal for mental health implementation. So we're going to look at that as well. And these are all things on our agenda. And also we have a land review committee, a status update on MARA for their revision. So hopefully y'all can come out and begin to gain more information on that. And we can move forward with it. A couple of things that I also want to put out there. The governor has just added $281 million to what's called the LMIG fund. The LMIG is to help us handle our local road improvements in Clayton County. So that's a great thing. What's even better about that is in order to get those funds and you apply for them, there's a match to it. With this additional money, since it's being put in the middle of the budget, there is no match. So I think that's a great thing that the governor has done for us to begin to move forward with trying to get our roads and things taken care of. So that's what else do we have? GDOT, the governor's also added an additional $1.5 billion to GDOT's budget for the coming year. How much is that going to help us? I don't know, because the cost of concrete, the cost of supplies has shot through the roof. But we're still hoping that that begins to move us forward here in Clayton County, because we have a whole lot that we need to take care of. For me and District 4, Sierra Boulevard, beginning to get that whole corridor wide for pedestrian safety and others as well. So we're going to look at that. You got to give me a little information here. You all would like to go out and stay out all night long. You can now drink till 3 a.m.
Wow.
Hey, I'll be home in a bit. But for you all, it has been moved, the board passed it from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. for the ones at a lot of our bars and things. So we do have that as well. So what else do we have? In Georgia, we now have a opioid fund that we're hoping our Department of Health can begin to utilize and get money for, helping the drug addiction program going on in Clayton County. It's basically been, the trustee over that is Commissioner Tanner from the state, and it's a 6 year. So hopefully we can begin to get some funding for that to begin to help with our drug addiction issues going on in Clayton County. Now we get to some of the good stuff. Chief, you ready? Come on up and begin to discuss what's taking place in our county with our crime and some of the other issues.
Good morning, y'all. Thank you, Commissioner. The Commissioner went out of his way to talk about that ordinance change because he and I have had some friendly deliberations about the matter. And I just want to start there since you brought it up, Commissioner.
Huh?
The police department brought the proposal before the board. It is not because Chief Roberts stays out all night till 3 a.m. to drink. But what we found was during our summertime approach to reducing our crimes against persons, we had an occasion to shut down several venues that were operating in violation of our current ordinance. When we engaged those business owners, the reason they said they operated the way they did because they didn't feel that their business was as profitable or competitive with neighboring businesses similar to them in other jurisdictions. Thus, they made the request and wanted the request presented to the board. And it wasn't just the business owners. We had the same conversation with different citizens. I bring this up because we're not a proponent of the same. But because the request was made, I thought it was appropriate for it to be presented to the board for consideration. The board made a decision. Just like I brought it, if we have problems, then we do have a plan to manage these hours. If we see it going the wrong way, I will be back in front of the microphone before the board saying that's a failed experiment. We need to reconsider the ordinance. So rest assured, we've onboarded a lot more men and women that will allow us the opportunity to more closely monitor these venues. I also intend, after I have the signing ordinance in my hand, to invite those business owners like we did during the summer to come sit down with us, review the ordinance, and to discuss the expectations of the police department and the community as a whole. So nobody can say they didn't know when we show up and you're in violation of this new ordinance, because we'll address it accordingly. Does that make sense? That okay? I don't understand on the matter, but I wanted to make my position on as well, so I appreciate that. When we talk about crime, we sit down as a command staff weekly and we review our crime stats and we make a month-to-month comparison. Just so you know, we've seen a reduction in our month-to-month comparison for this month compared to the previous month. We had 543 incidents of crime the previous month. This most recent 4 weeks, we've had 405. It's been a common trend of slow reduction, and that's due to the partnership with the police department and the community. Our homicides. We ended the year last year with 43 compared to 51 the previous year. Right now, we sit at 4 compared to 9 the same time last year. That's the community's work. That's over 50% reduction. So we're trending in the right direction in this space. I dare say this next point of discussion is connected. We have 24 police officer vacancies. So we're putting more men and women out in the street to patrol. We have 23 recruits in our current academy. They're due to April. We will start an overlapping academy of 18 additional recruits on March 25th this month. We not run a dual academy or have enough recruits and applicants to run a dual academy since I've been chief. What does that mean? We have people that we're onboarding at the Clayton County Police Department to keep our community safe, and that's a positive thing. Crime trend information, I know you always want access. If you go to our website at claytonpolice.com, there is a tab that says Newsroom, and on that tab, you see a button that says Crime Statistics. There should be a graph, a trend line graph for every sector in the county that shows you how our crime is trending both in your community and in the other communities. Also on our website is a place for you to register your cameras, whether you're a citizen or business, at connectclayton.org. It's on our website. It also has a video explaining the process and the reason for the same. Please note that if you register your camera with us, it is not for us to monitor you 24 hours a day. It is for us to have access to the camera in the event there's a crime. We can reach out to you and ask permission to access your camera, because that will aid the men and women who are out there in the field trying to solve crimes, to get real-time information to them so we can effectively reduce our overall crime. Lastly, in the way of planning, recently in the media, we've seen shootings after the Super Bowl in Kansas City. We've seen Benjamin Mays High School parking lot, and we've had our own homicide between school-age juveniles in the county involving firearms. That being said, I thought it would be prudent for our agency as well as our partners to exercise our critical incident response to active shooters. So what we're planning with the Clayton County Police Department, school police, Clayton County Fire and EMS and the Sheriff's Office. We're planning a full-scale exercise to be trained later this year, probably around August, or as a full active training, but we will have a tabletop exercise to prepare for the full scale. The tabletop should be in the next 60 days. Why do I tell you that? When we have or we see critical active shooter incidents across the nation, it's chaos. And how do you prepare for chaos? You train. And it won't be just one agency when those critical incidents occur, it's gonna be all hands on deck. Now, what's key is that you practice and you train, you will never get enough training, but to not train at all is the deficiency in leadership if we don't do so, so expect that to be forthcoming. And with that, Commissioner, that's all I have, because the most important person for District 4 and Sector 4 needs as it relates to the police department is Captain Brandon McKay. I will call him up at this time, and upon his conclusion, we'll hear from his division commander, Major Freeman, and we'll open the floor for questions. Greetings.
Good morning, everyone. Always nice to see everybody on Saturday morning. So, hope everybody's having a good wet week. It's definitely a little wet outside. So, if anybody had to take a boat here, let me know. I got some extra floaties in my Tahoe. The biggest thing we're dealing with on Sector 4 is, of course, the entering autos. We've had kind of a rash in the last few days. Of course, that happens, anywhere can happen in a neighborhood, apartment complex, a business, anything like that. So, kind of crimes of opportunity. So the biggest thing with that, if I can ever tell you anything, please do not lose any kind of valuables at it. Never, especially firearms. We get an awful lot of firearms in stolen cars because people just leave them in there. I think it's not really that big of a deal. Stolen underneath the seats. That's how a lot of these firearms, unfortunately, are reaching the streets because people aren't being, the best gun owners and not securing them properly. And that's honestly where a lot of the incidents happen. Other than that, everything's been going pretty smoothly. We've got one of our speed signs still on Crane Road. We've got one in Sherwood Forest subdivision. Those will be there for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then when we take them down, obviously we'll assess and see where else we need to put them because the batteries in them last about 2 to 3 weeks, and we're going to bring them back and charge them for about 2 or 3 days. But other than that, everything's going pretty smoothly. Nothing too crazy going on. One thing I will say, if you look at our crime stats, it may show a decent amount of stolen vehicles. However, what we've just found out is most of those stolen vehicles are because of the business practices of the car dealerships that we have, as a matter of fact. There were some cars that were taken almost a year ago that there was some kind of fraud that was done when they were purchased. They let people take the vehicle, the wire transferred the money essentially never went through. And then a year later, now the dealership is reporting the car stolen. So unfortunately, that's kind of an influx that we're seeing with stolen cars, but that's unfortunately nothing that you can really, get in front of because it's a business practice of that particular dealership that's causing the issue. But like I said, entering autos right now is the biggest issue that we have on Sector 4. So we have a new initiative that's going on. I've actually assigned 2 officers in my precinct to assist the ID and do the follow-up with the entering autos. And any of the neighborhoods, businesses, anything like that, their responsibility is to go out and respond to calls, try to make contact in that neighborhood, see if there's any camera footage that we may have potentially missed, make contact, the businesses to see how we can hopefully try to prevent this kind of stuff and maybe see the time frames are happening so we can be a little more present in that particular area. So, but other than that, that's all I got. Somebody got any questions for me?
Online, any questions as well?
Captain McKay, this is Judy Taylor, and I wanted to thank you for the speed detection devices that you've placed in Sherwood Forest. That hopefully that will help us slow people down a little bit and everything too, and think about it. But I don't know if anybody else is having trouble, but I'm having a hard time understanding what anybody's saying when they're speaking online like that. I think other people may have that problem too, because I'm losing most of what it is. I can't understand most of what, and I don't want to repeat what somebody else has already said. But thank you, Captain McKay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm having issues too. I think it sounds hollow in the area that you are. I think that's what it is. The reason why we're having difficulty trying to hear what's being said. That's my opinion.
Anything else for me?
I'm also having problems too, trying to hear you. I can't understand what you're saying.
Thank you so much.
You're sounding muffled, very
Yeah.
muffled.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Come on, speak.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Major Tony Thuman. I'm the Uniform Patrol Division Commander. And I just want to touch on one other thing that the chief and the captain, we all kind of break these up as we go. One other issue that we're continuing to have, not only countywide, but also as a statewide problem, is the squatters. People that are going into houses, staying in houses and things of that nature. I'm here to tell you this, there's a lot of misconception about squatters. Very fortunately, our legislators have taken this up with House Bill 1017 as well. You can give it more teeth. Squatting is illegal, period, the end. Okay, when we come out to a squatter situation, that squatter can be made to leave the home that they are in. They don't lawfully reside there. However, I do want to tell you this, a lot of times these squatters, what we're finding, have also been a victim. They have met with somebody once in a while, even wearing a company shirt with a logo and a contract. So this person inside this home may believe that he or she is there legally and actually doing it the right way. They pay the deposit, they're paying rent. So what we technically have is we actually have two victims there, the person that actually owns the home and then the squatter themselves. So we have developed through the police department a procedure to deal with this. So if you know somebody dealing with this and having problems, have them contact us. We can come out. Only thing we ask of the homeowners is please understand if this person has also been a victim, try to work with them a little bit too. There's a difference in, hey, you got to get out of my house right now. You know, they got a house full of furniture that's not supposed to be in your house, but it is in your house. What we've seen is most of our homeowners and our property managements have been willing to work with that person to allow them to get out. But just want to clear the air. If there's any questions about squatters, I'm standing here now. If there's any questions afterwards, I'll be here after the meeting as well. Any questions? Thank you very much.
And also to just to remind those online, we had this here at the Lakes Bible because we were having our gift fit event going on today. And as you can see, we've canceled that because of the weather. So we will be back at our normal 112 Smith Street starting next month at the April 9th? April 9th meeting, I believe it is. So with that, I want to bring up and begin to hear an update from our Board of Education representative, Ms. Mary Baker, and she can come and tell us what's going on in Clayton County with the schools, and also how did Jonesboro High School boys do as well. Okay.
But our mock trial team is going to stay.
We don't have to.
So, he's given me a list. I'm gonna try to make this brief, so if you have any questions. First of all, some of you weren't here when I spoke, last time. If you see construction going over at the, mall, that is because Clayton County purchased the Sears building, and we're gonna be putting in a convocation center. And you're like, what is it for? Well, I had an idea many years ago of wanting to, have our graduations in our own backyard. I don't mind paying the price for graduations, but I prefer to pay it in my backyard. So over the years, this is what's come up. We will be able to have an arena that holds 8,500 people. So not only will we be able to do our own graduations, we can hold basketball tournaments and whatever you can come up with, concerts. There'll be 500 seats on the lawn for smaller concerts. There'll be a roof deck. It will also hold our career center and a discovery center. We can be doing our own proms in our own county, not going out of county to do that. We can do reunions, family reunions, you name it. We're gonna get creative with that building. So that's what's going on there. Before I go any further, I just want to take a second to say thank you to Chief Roberts and his team. I hold a gun forum called Lock It Up. We give locks out to gun owners because I don't want to pray for any more families who've lost children. I don't want to see any more 3-year-olds get shot. So that's my own little commercial in here. So thank you, Chief. Next, there is so much going on in Clayton County right now. If you've seen the last board meeting, we've just put up for bids to do Lovejoy High School. And it is a lot of money and I'm freaking out. And I said, how come it's so much more money than say Jonesboro? Because if y'all driven by Jonesboro High School, you have seen a miracle happen. And they are going to move the enrollment because there are so many people down on the Panhandle now, that school will go from about 1,900 to 2,800 because we have the land. So that's why that price is going to be so much. It's not just going to be, you know, some paint and everything like that. So that'll be one of our new projects. Along with that, down on that end, we've taken the old Lovejoy Middle School and we have the first adaptive sports complex, letting our children who are handicapped in wheelchairs. And I would say, my board member, Mark Christmas, you'll see him out there every time. He's out there in a wheelchair with them and playing with them. So this is something that's going to be great for our community. On top of that, we've got a new North Clayton High School coming in. And it will be in a new location. We finally gotten all the property for that. It will include, and I couldn't believe this when they first said it to me. I am not a golfer, but it will have a 9-hole golf course. And I'm like, the kids need a 9-hole golf course. But we have already had the PGA come to us for a partnership. So every time we have come up with these ideas, we are looking for partnerships to grow this. They told me that the Convocation Center alone should bring in about 6,000 jobs. It'll be construction, it'll be after the fact. What Mary wants is more restaurants. I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of leaving the county to go eat. But I have already been by, Mayor Lample of Morrow told me that there was permits already for 2 hotels right there by where the Harley Davidson is. And one is going to be a Holiday Inn Express, and the other one's going to be a Fairfield. So it's not Motel 6. No offense to them, but it's not. So that's what I'm looking at, is we're going to have events at that Convocation Center year round. We've already had other districts say, can we do our graduations? I'm like, not on our days, and you can pay the price. So, but I know Delta used to, on a regular basis, get the pack for their meetings. And we're the home of the airport. These people can fly into Clayton County, do their convention here. There's going to be some hotels here, hopefully more restaurants. And if they want to go to a meeting, fine, let them fight traffic, but they don't have to. And so that's one of the ways that we're planning. Yes, ma'am. It's scheduled for summer of 25. I've already talked to our construction person and said, I want to do graduations in May. So I don't care if that part of the building's not done, as long as I can do my graduations and have some bathrooms. That's what I want for May. Then they can do all the finishing touches later. Yes, ma'am.
Is that where you said the event center was going to be? Because you mentioned that earlier. I was going to ask.
Yes, ma'am. That's where the old Sears building is. So we have all that parking in that area. And then Morrow's trying to do, you know, that other part there too. So it's like I said, it's going to be a partnership of getting things done. Our foundation is already working, talking to people about concerts and all kinds of things. So just a little bit of something for us, and we don't have to go play in somebody else's backyard. Is there any other questions I can help you with?
I have a question. It doesn't pertain to exactly what you're talking about, and I don't know if you can answer this or the police department, but Riverdale Middle School, when the children get out, I live in Brookview Village, which is directly across the street, which is Clayton County, and I am the Brookview Village HOA president. They use our common area to have fights. They come directly across the street. As I have gone to the school and to speak to the vice principal or the principal, they are always telling me that is not their problem. Once the children leave the school premises, it becomes a police issue and not the school. But all these children come from the Riverdale Middle School. Is there any kind of implementation for this to stop? We're not a gated community. It's basically open. As they come in through the entrance, it's really kind of hard to see them as they're fighting. We just had a huge fight on Friday, and you know, it's getting worse. So I don't know if this is a police department issue or it is a school issue, but it has to stop.
Hey, good morning, Chief Roberts. I would suggest this, if you're seeing kids fighting, number one, that's not practice. If it's practice and it's led by a school official, we can make contact with that official to see how it's organized, or if it's organized or not. I'll be glad to coordinate with your captain, Captain Steve Long, to make sure we get folks out there right after school so we can start breaking this up. But fighting or, congregating in a manner that's not orderly becomes a police issue.
Okay, because it's normally anywhere between, honestly, 10 to 30 children. And, you know, I mean, I try, and some of the parents try to go out there, but it's way too bigger than us. And we don't want to hurt anybody's children because we don't want to get locked up. So therefore, we would really like that assistance. This is about the fourth fight, and as the weather gets warmer, it gets even bigger. So when the police officers are out there, it really helps. And I haven't seen that lately. So who do I speak to?
Captain James Long, and if you go to our website, claytonpolice.com, his contact information is on the website, and you can give him a call and an email, but I'll also be reaching out to him. As a matter of fact, his direct supervisor is in the back, writing this down as we speak.
Thank you.
Of course.
I was also gonna say that, I will talk to Archie, because we partner all the time with the county, so I will do that also. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
My question deals with economic development as far as moving forward for our county. I've been a resident here on the south side for 24 to 25 years. And I've been over here to Clayton County for the past 6 years. One of the things that dismays me is that we only seem to be able to develop paying on places, title pond, and rim shops. Can we get some input from the commissioners to take it to the board? If we're not going to give any more permits to these kinds of businesses, we know that they're predatory, and we know that they're primarily located in our community, and we don't need any more predatory kinds of businesses in our community. And I will speak to that, since you do bring that up, because I just put together a list of certain types of businesses to begin to create a moratorium here in Clayton County. Initially was for District 4. It looks like they want to expand it for the entire county. So I am looking at those. You are right. We do have certain type of businesses that can be deemed predatory, and we've got to begin to monitor them. All kind of businesses are needed, yes, but we don't need to saturate our areas with the same type of businesses. So I am looking to set a moratorium on those with that. Yes. In that effort, that item might be coming before the board on not this coming Tuesday, the work session of the next meeting. So just show up at the meeting and begin to voice your concerns, because just like that gentleman voiced what his concerns are, that's what we need to hear. We need to have smart growth in this county. But let me back up 1 second, because when we talk about the kids and the fights and everything going on, and I'm gonna put her on the spot, but we have our former juvenile court judge, and maybe she could begin to speak about just some of the needs to begin to take care of these kids in the right way, because we don't want them in the system. And I just want her to begin to touch on that briefly, and then we're going to get back to the economic development portion. Yes.
I have a question for, I didn't get any. So you talked about the hotels and everything, that's gonna be coming in this new project. How viable will these hotels be on non-peak times? You know, that's my concern. You know, we bring these businesses, but how viable are they gonna be to maintain employment for people? Because when there's not a lot of activity, then there's a decrease or a layoff. So how viable would a hotel be in non-peak times?
Ms. Packard is in charge of our foundation, and she has worked in the entertainment field. So I have great faith in her that she's going to have that booked quite a bit. Number one, we'll just go with that. Second of all, we sit on 75 Henning Floor. And I think we're gonna, because of where it sits and the signage that's gonna be out there, we will have a lot of people who are just in the process of traveling and they want a decent place to stay. So I understand what you're saying about, you know, what about non-peak times, but I think we'll have a lot of business that way too.
What about have you all determined how the capacity of the hotel has that been decided?
I personally have not. I know the foundation has talked with, Mayor, but I don't know his exact numbers, so I wouldn't even.
Thank you.
Thank you, good job. Come on,
Good morning, forgot what I'm touching on, it was about the fights in the city.
Yeah, that was, we get out the system and this, so they don't get involved.
So I guess the difficult part from my perspective is I wasn't getting a report, so we didn't get the children until they were in the system, but once they were there, then we had programs. The services designed to address it, but that was after they came to us. I do know that there are providers that exist in the community, that can help with some of the, idle times that these children have, and also to address some of the issues that they face. Children nowadays are faced with a whole myriad of issues that we were not, and I say we, in my tender age. And are they are going to school, other children, you know, there are children with guns and serious weapons. They are, you know, there are serious, very serious, gang issues that exist. And then they come from home that those homes have serious issues as well. And so those children then are coming to school with those problems and they are, you know, looking for an outlet for that frustration. And sometimes that presents itself in the way of a fight. Or multiple fights, just because they lack the ability to articulate what the actual issue is and then to receive help. Parents or children can seek those community outlets, but the issue is, or the question becomes whether or not parents are going to do that. Otherwise, if they wait until they get to the court system, then it already is there before us for something else that has occurred. So, I don't know, I hope that addressed the question. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. My name is Deidre Butler. Any questions?
Thank you. You know, anytime we're dealing with our youth, I think it's very key that we not only deal with the here and now, but we want to keep them out of that system. That is our job, and that is our role. But I want to get back to, where's the gentleman? Did he just walk out? There he goes. Just to let you know, going on economic development, and how to do business. We are having, it is March 26th, contract compliance here at Lakeview. It's going to be from 2 p.m. to 3:30. So it's how to do business with the county. And once you begin to register to do business with the county, you have us crossing over the school system as well, to do business with the school system as well. So you can do that, or if you get something from the school system, you can go and begin to get registered for that as well.
What about just startups?
That's a little bit different. We do have some folks out there that will begin to speak to you about that. A specific startup funding sources, I don't know those off the top of my head. Okay, but please come on and begin to look at that. Also, too, we have March 21st. There's a teacher and paraprofessional job fair as well. I'll get the dates and we'll put it in the newsletter so you all have that as well. Trying to keep us on track a little bit. Code enforcement. Is code enforcement online?
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm here.
You're here. All right, officer. Let's go. And also online, if you all have any questions, because if you're not hearing us, you can put them in the chat.
Okay. Okay, I'm Edwards and I am the supervisor for District 4. As you know, we are still trying to hit every subdivision that we can within District 4. I'm kind of still learning District 4 because I'm coming across subdivisions that I didn't even know existed. But and then we're running across the ones that's been kind of set in their ways with storing a lot of equipment on property in a residential area. And they're just used to having all their stuff just cluttered up right there together. So far this year, we only hit 2 in the month of January. So that would be Wingate and Manor. But other than that, we did 8. We hit 8 other subdivisions so far just in the month of February. Haven't done anything for March yet, but it is on the list. If you guys know of any subdivisions that are not in compliance, please feel free to either email me or just leave me a message or just call me. I'm going to leave all that information in the chat. But we are definitely keeping an eye on Sherwood, so I have them riding through there. Also, Valley Hill, so far it looks pretty good, but we still have to keep an eye on Valley Hill because they do just enough to get us off of them, and then they turn around and they start doing it all over again. If anybody have any questions for me, any complaints, I'm more than happy to take it right now. And I can go ahead on just assign that out. So when the officer get in on Monday, they could go ahead on and take care of it.
Okay, we do have a question here right now. Go ahead.
I would like to know, regarding campaign signs, how does the code enforcement go about removing signs? What is the protocol?
Okay, so right now, we don't normally mess with the political signs unless they are unless they're like close to the street. They have to be 10 feet back away from the street. If they're 10 feet back, we're not going to pull them because they are away from the street and they shouldn't be a distraction. But we have been pulling some political signs, but we keep them right here at our department, and we allow them to come and get those signs. We don't take them to the landfill, not the political signs. We do allow them to come pick them up.
And if someone calls and they might be one of the candidates and say, move that or something, I'm just asking because I want to know, I kind of know, but do you check prior to sending out the person to remove the sign, or is it something that's not on the trip?
Can you repeat that for me, Commissioner?
She's asking about signs, I believe, on private property.
Yes.
And should they be calling code enforcement to remove political signs from private property?
No, if the resident allow them to put the signs there, like a house residential, we don't mess with that because they already asked permission to put it there. So, I mean, it's their property.
What about a business?
I'm sorry?
What about a business?
Businesses, we will pull them if they are in the right of way. We take them. They have to be 10 feet back from the road.
So in essence, if
they're out by the road, we are going to pull them.
So if they're on private property,
Say it again, sir.
Then they can stay there. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead first.
Okay. Okay. What about trash that's been left out in the can, and there's trash on the side of the can? It's been left out there like about 2 weeks now. And the trash, people have not picked it up, but there's still people living there. Do y'all handle that, or how does that work?
Yes, ma'am, we do. Yes, ma'am, we do. All you do is just call us, give us an address, and we will go out. We'll go out and we'll address it.
Okay, now what is your number again, your phone number?
My phone number is 678-610.
Oh, it's all right, I got something right here.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
I have a question. We at Brookview Village just got a whole lot of no parking signs that was given out by the county. So we're a subdivision that are townhomes, so therefore our parking situation is rather tight. So a lot of people are now parking on top of the lawns right in front of their homes. does code enforcement, or is it the code enforcement that can give them any kind of violations or citations of any sort, or would that be an HOA issue?
No, ma'am. We do a lot of HOA to try to handle it first. And
Mhm.
if you don't get your results from them, then code enforcement will step in and give them a violation, possibly a citation if they don't
Okay.
comply.
Thank you.
Mickey?
Ma'am, what exactly defines right of way? Be specific. What defines exactly the right of way where those signs can be put?
When they're out by the street, sir or ma'am, not sure. When they're out by the street, and it's right at the street, it's such a distraction that people are trying to read the signs, trying to see what they're running for, and it's a distraction because they're slowing down and they're holding up traffic. So the signs have to be 10 feet back from the road, or we're gonna have to pull them.
Ma'am, would you get me back from the road? Is that measured from that white line, or is it measured from the end of the end of the asphalt? And give me in feet.
Well, we measure it from the curve. We start measuring it from the curve on back.
And Mickey?
Curve on that?
Yes, the easy way to identify the right of way, which is pretty much government property, the right of way is government property, what they can do things with, is to look behind usually your telephone poles, your telephone pole line. When you get behind that, you're out of the right. Anything in front of that towards the street, you're in the right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
This is Janice Arcaria. I have a question comment.
Yes.
I've heard of a couple of incidents where this has happened. More and more homeowners, due to looking at climate change and wanting to provide a habitat for pollinators, are converting their front yards from the traditional just grass to more of a pollinator native yard. I've heard of a couple incidents in which they were people who have done that, and it is a great expense to make this conversion, have ended up getting code violations. A lot of times the native plants that you put in, they are going to be taller than grass. And during the winter, they're going to go dormant before reviving again in the spring as a perennial. Have any of the code enforcement officers maybe reached out to the master gardeners or the extension office to get some training on what native gardens or Audubon approved gardens look like, and that they are not eyesores? They're actually planned to have plants of various heights there. And of course, that will go dormant during the summer. A lot of times, native ornamental grasses are also included, and they are more bushy with a much higher height than a traditional lawn. And the traditional lawns do not support pollinators and usually require a heavy use of pesticides and herbicides, which are not good for runoff into our water system either.
No, ma'am, we have not spoke with anyone about that. What you're speaking of, you're saying, is this a type of grass that grows past what the regular grass grows up to be?
Oh, yes. There are different kinds of grass. I know of one person for sure that got a citation, and another person I've heard about. And I'm in the process of doing this, and you end up having a consultant that comes up with a plan. It's not an inexpensive project, but I think in mine alone, there may be 6 different kinds of recommended mounding grasses. Some are low, some are higher, because each one attracts different types of pollinators. And we do have a crisis in the pollinator world because bees are dying off, and we also have trouble with butterflies, such as monarchs, dying off. They need more habitat. So the last thing a person wants to do is to go to the expense and trouble of removing invasive plants, putting in these things, which are definitely of a higher height, most of them, and then get cited for it.
I think this is gonna be something, because this is new, and this is the first I've heard of it. This is just something we're gonna have to begin.
Okay, so, with,
I
I'm
would say the
sorry.
extension office and the master gardeners or your Audubon Society, any of those could give guidance on what, what one of these natural habitats should and could look like.
Okay, so in order, if we do speak with them, and Commissioner, you have to back me up on this, because of the way the ordinance is read, grass is grass to us. So in order for us to overlook that and look at that as something of, beyond like regular grass, the ordinance will have to be adjusted. Otherwise, we look. Can you hear me now?
Well, there we go. Okay.
I'm sorry. So basically what I was saying was the type of grass that you're speaking of, because of the way our ordinance is read, the ordinance will have to be revised with the type of grass that you're speaking of in order for us to eliminate that grass from our county ordinance, for us writing it up.
I would suggest.
So I'm not sure if I'm sorry, go ahead.
I suggest we take this one kind of offline to begin to discuss it as needed, to figure out if there's something that we need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for folks? We have one here, yes.
I don't think you are guilty of it. I know some commissioners are. When something is presented during so many meetings, it's exact rule.
Correct.
And it's up to the commission. Does anybody bother taking into consideration the input from the residents of that area? I'll give you an example. I brought this up a year and a half ago. And went to a pool. Nobody bothered to talk with us in the community. If you may with the area of Panhandle and Tower Road, beautiful set of trees, subdivisions around, beautiful set. Commissioner decided to approve it. Now, when you drive by there, it's ridiculous. All gone. Nobody thought of us, and nobody listens. It's in public comments. It's the zone is approved.
I would say it like this. There's a process in bringing any project to fruition. Within that process, there are different portions of it where we do see coming from the public. ZAG, those meetings are public. Also, too, if we begin to look at a lot of the signs out in front where we have the public hearings, we need to get folks more involved in those as well. We just had one, and it was the first time we've ever done it. We had it over at the Charlie Griswold Center, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. And we had, I think, 5 different issues all in there at once. That, I think were you there, Don? That was the most populous meeting that we've had, yes.
Going back to these signs.
They're hard to read.
I don't read the signs.
No, 100%.
You know, people have glasses, and if I have reading glasses and get out in the park and read it, it's too small. So
I got
really need something.
Okay, we'll begin to look at that, address that immediately.
The reason I say that is because when I crossed from the water authority, I was in the meeting, you had 2 of them, they're big, actually commercial. We had the meeting, everybody got the input, and we came up on the zoning, and you expressed your opinion on it. Residential, it seems that the commission there don't feel what people think of, and that have to deal with that. Let me tell you why. When they knock down all those streets, there's subdivisions all around. There's no stop sign. There is a stop sign, but there's no light at Panhandle and Tower. It's going to be a nightmare on that little bitty street, Tower Road. Now, with the additional 90 homes, which is 180 cars going up and down, it needs to be input from us. Look at ZAG, denies, this one approves, and then they do it anyway.
And I hear you. I will just say this. It is officially election season. It is officially election season. And we've got to begin to look at these folks according to who you're gonna put in. To make sure that they do have your best interest at heart. to make sure they can think in an entire project manner. And also reassessment manner, which is part of the project. We have to begin to do that.
No, the reason I brought that up is because the gentleman's in economic development. We all want the county to grow, it's how it grows.
Smart though, correct. Yes.
So this past Monday, there was a planning meeting that I attended for those signs that you can't read. So the signs, apparently there's been a whole big discussion on the sign and the size of the sign. The reason that they are small, sticking around signs is because whichever community development, whichever department says, in order to put the signs like they have for the movie night, it takes 2 people, like 2 hours of billable time, so they decided that they wanted to make the sign so small you can't read because it is in the ground. Second comment is, at that planning meeting, you can get to talk, and during Monday's planning meeting, there was a business that was trying to put in a subdivision of 21 single-family homes surrounding, encapsulating 74 townhomes. 2 or 3 of the residents that lived around there spoke up, saying, I can't get it out of my property now. That would deny all solutions. So again, if the commissioner got this, is the board.
Well, the other part of that is, let's realize, and that, the community you're speaking of is right up here on the corner of 138 and the Lucas Random. Is where they're talking about, right behind that dollar store. When a piece of property is zoned for something, it's very hard to deny based on the current zoning. We have to realize that. Second part of that is that piece, that project right there, when they initially came a couple of years ago, they wanted 296 apartments there. They've come to me several times where I said, begin to get something there. Is something gonna go there? Yes, it's a matter that we're going to allow them and begin to look at it in conjunction with our traffic study and traffic plan to begin to get it done. Where it's going to begin to mitigate congestion. It's not going to eliminate, because as we know, and as I'm finding out more and more, we want to be the last ones to come into it. We don't want it to grow outside of it. That's what I'm finding is a common thing. But we have to have smart ones. The other thing is this, and I get to your question. The other point is this: with those signs, community development now is, well, I'm not sure when it's going to start, but they're going to make folks put signs up. The developer put big signs up on the property now to make sure you know those meetings. If they don't do it, the meeting cannot happen, and their zone's going to get pushed back. So that's going to assist that tremendously in knowing where and when that meeting is going to be, because where that sign is where the proposals. Behind you, Mickey, and not good coming.
I just want to piggyback on the issues. That it would seem to me, I'm not a developer, I'm not a home builder. I'm a person who lived in the community, most of my life. And it would seem if the county commission, when you're reviewing these applications for the dual development, would bring to the developer's attention that, hey, you gotta do an impact study. And then if your development is going to cause a major uptick in traffic and congestion, then you're going to have to partner with the county and provide the expansion of roadways. I think that would deter a lot of people from the unbridled, uncontrolled community growth that I've seen in my 25 years here.
And it does.
I've lived in Columbia, Maryland. I've lived in Northern Virginia, and when they have developers coming in, the developers have to look at all this before they can just put up 100 homes.
Yeah.
And when they realize they're going to have to pay part of the cost for expanding the roadways, they I think we'll cut down the third.
No, and I agree with you hard. And we've got to begin to hold them to that higher standard. Yes.
Commissioner, I'm a little confused with section about the signs, the developer putting up a sign showing what's coming. Is that before it goes to the commission board for approval or after?
I'm sorry, these were, the small signs that are on, I said on the phone with the blue stripe, the public hearing. It will be before, it's before those, but that has to now be enlarged. It goes on the property saying there's a public hearing to speak about the project that's being proposed. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense only now, only because you had a project here in the Lake Spivey area with Mr. Truett Cathy, and his consortium of Chick-fil-A building a project here, and the zoning with the little blue signs went first.
Correct.
But then you required him to put up the big sign with the big picture on it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
is that, I'm gonna ask you, for my clarity here, is that big picture sign gonna be before the zone?
That sign that's going up right down the street here on Walt Stevens for that project is now what's coming. We've already approved that. So no, but what I'm saying is community development now has enacted a new policy where when the public hearing is announced, you gotta put a sign up on the property saying, we're having a public hearing, this is what it is. We're gonna get away from the small blue signs.
Okay. All right,
That's what we're doing.
I'm following you, that is approved. Thank you.
Yes. The mandatory trash pickup.
Yeah.
I'll explain my position. I'm totally against it. Why am I totally against it? It's because it does not address our major problem, which is the littering problem that we have. Now, I'll be honest, and most folks don't know about it, we don't use it. The best thing we have in Clayton County right now is our refuge pickup. Prime example, I just cut down a lot of limbs in my home. I put them out on the curb. And I mean a ton. They came out, they gave me a price. I go over refuge, cost me $80. They came out the next day, picked up everything and put it away. We got to begin to use these. Trash or the mandatory trash pickup does not address that. It just simply addresses your normal, everyday household trash, which I believe the majority of our folks have. Now, my suggestion is this, and one of my recommendations, if this is the home of a non-primary residence, then we put it in we make it mandatory and include it within their tax. Because what we have to realize is a lot of our homeowners here don't reside even in the state that own these properties. We go by rental companies or something, and they are, in a sense, going ahead and they are damaging our assessment prices and valuations of our homes. So we gotta begin to look at that as well. And we finish with this. So my thing is, the only way a mandatory trash collection, in my view, could work is for us to get with every municipality in Clayton County, get rid of theirs, and we all work together to have one. Now you've got true mandatory trash pickup from Hampton all the way to Forest Park and Liberty, including the cities as well as the county. Go ahead. Yeah, one more go ahead.
Project.
Okay.
I live in Hampton area over there, and we looked at that. I don't know how much the house will cost and how to figure out.
For me, this is one of the few projects that have come to Clayton County that I'm truly excited. This is going to take up our property values all over this area. If you're behind, it's going to take those up as well. The problem is not by the capital plan, it's by the foundation that project is. If a developer wanted to come in to begin to redo that, they couldn't afford it. This is a $70 million project that's gonna go. They're gonna have some arts and craft type of venues and training. They're gonna have some senior homes that are going to be affordable based off of the seniors' income. Really put out there for folks that want to downsize. These are not gonna be apartments. They're going to be detached townhomes with sidewalks all the way through. In front of Wall Street, there will be a 10-foot wide sidewalk that will begin to go in front of that. With 2 farm table restaurants, I think they're proposing, as well as 1 drive-through.
We just talking about the tax. You know, behind.
You know what? Well, and here we go. Luckily, we got tax with our former tax. That can address a lot of things. But what we gotta realize is, and this is gonna kind of a side note, then we'll get back to it. I want us to recognize the seniors. We have to begin to utilize a lot of the, what am I thinking about here? What are some of the tax,
Yes, it's a senior tax.
You gotta begin to look at all these exemptions, and we're gonna start talking more about these exemptions, and we've got to begin utilizing more for it. We have questions there first.
Okay, going back to the homeowners and everything. With the corporations that are coming in into the communities, buying the homes and turning them into rental property. Is there anything that can be done to, I guess you'd say, stop it or whatever, especially when you're in like an HOA? I'm noticing that in the community. I know it's all over, but I'm asking you as my commissioner.
What we can begin to do, and what I've done, and moving forward with anything, is one, if there's an HOA in there, put in there that it cannot be sold to a developer. So meaning that I can come as a developer, under have my own company as an LLC, but I can't buy multiple houses. So that's what we have to get to where we can begin to control that. There's also, I can't remember the Senate bill. There is something being proposed under the House to begin to assist with that as well, where these folks can't come in and begin to do that, because they are adversely affecting our economic impact. We have, let's get our question first.
Okay, Commissioner, like you, I'm excited about the project. Well, even I attended many meetings, several meetings. Anxious to know when they're gonna get started.
They've already got started. They're actually been clearing the ground, and they're just cleaning it up.
I know this is a foundation.
Hopefully very soon. Let's get to this question first and then come back. Yes.
Yeah, I had a question about, a little bit about trash.
Okay.
And I know we have a littering problem. One of the things I was wondering is there any way to hold, I guess, I don't know, businesses in the strip mall and things where I know we usually have, the trash pickup that the prisons or whatever, that we have that correctional, refuge, but that's mainly around right of ways, if I'm not mistaken. But there's areas that, you know, that are just continuously have a lot of trash, and I'm not sure who's responsible for that, like behind ANC Theater or over here in front of Home Depot, or, you know, there in front of Barnes and Noble, where there's trash, you know, that gets, you know, in the bushes there, and it's like, who's responsible for that?
Anytime there's some trash, give our office a call. And so that we can begin to look at it. We actually had them go out and clean up over there by the Home Depot.
Okay.
So we did clean up over there in that area. But please, anytime there's trash there, please call. Yes.
There's two competing, competing studies going on. We have the Terra Boulevard at LCI and the Future Focus Clayton. I've been to a number of the meetings, and we're talking about how to get economic development to bring. The turnout's nice, but it's small for a county of our size. What can the commissioners do, or even what can, as a community, how can we get the word out? Because this is what's going to affect us for how many years in the future?
I say the same way that this group is grown here. You all have told somebody. You know, we can begin to advertise all we want, and I hate to say it, we're gonna keep the groups small. The groups are always gonna come out small. But when you all carpool, then we begin to get more close. And this is what I wanna see. These meetings are not designed for me to tell you what I think we need to do. It's for me to get input from you of where you want to see and how you want to see this kind of grow. I don't believe in the term economic development because it's very, very vanilla. We've got to gear it towards something. So that's my thought. Yes, sir.
Now, back to mandatory cuts, we have a former tax commissioner, Terry Baskin here. It was at the meeting that I called the Battle Creek, when we had to field all these questions, people were very upset. Now it's reared its ugly head again.
Okay.
The question came up, is there a way, if it's a rental property, that the tax commissioner can identify, and that's mandatory?
Okay.
Not for us private homeowners that I've changed trash companies several times because of competitive pricing.
Okay.
If I don't like what you're doing, I'll go to somebody else and hold them accountable. The other, but
No, Mr. Bassett, can you come up here and sit your and speak on this point?
yes, Mr. Bass.
So I can tell you this as well. We're all creating a registry to begin to have those rental properties in a registry. So,
Okay.
but go ahead and speak to that.
Put me on the spot. Okay, good afternoon, how's everybody doing?
Good.
As tax commissioner, I've always had this issue pertaining to tax collection or trash collection on a tax bill. It has several inputs that a lot of people didn't understand. One, it raises your taxes. Okay, it impacts your escrow account. And worse than that, it takes your right of way as far as choosing to whom you want to serve your property. Now, I'll say it like this, and like I said, prior to me retiring, I had to make sure that the commissioners understood. Some understood, others didn't. But I'm going to stand on the mere fact that that is an impact to you and me. So if there's anything that we can do as from the tax commissioner's office, I'm gonna say it like this. Contract with the tax commissioner to send out a second bill. That's right, a second bill. Don't put it on the homeowner's bill, put it out to a second bill. That will enable the tax commissioner that has lien power, in other words, place a lien out there, and also have the beauty part of actually taking that property to sale due to the mere fact of non-payment of a bill. Okay? So these are the answers that I'm glad he said that, we're actually looking at that, because I don't want to penalize myself. And I definitely didn't want to see you penalized for it, but it's just a mere understanding of what we have to do collectively to make sure that we have better life in Clayton County. Enough said.
Thank you, former tax commissioner. But this is what we have to do. We have to look at that and putting that at second. I'm out on and looking at the top. When we get out, it's 1209. So no, we're gonna keep asking a little. Okay. Let's just ask questions. Let's stop the name.
The other issue is, and I spoke about this in public comments on several occasions, when you read the ordinances regarding conflicts of interest, I believe that any commissioner who has a business pertaining to what is brought to the board should be recused himself. The reason I say that is because if you're in real estate, you're a broker, salesperson, whatever. It is a direct conflict of interest. The reason I'm saying that is because it opens the door to quid pro quo. You get it approved and I'll pay you.
What you're talking about is, for me, is I'm not gonna give anything, but it's comes down to simple habits. That's what it's about. It's about that for you. And like I said again, in this campaign season. The doors have officially opened and closed. What? This is what it is. So we get a look at folks and we get. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were here. All right, that better. But that's where we are. So any other questions pertaining to? Oh, we got one back in?
This is how this is and all those other wonderful workshops. Is it possible that the county will say, this is how to be a citizen of the county? That equals everything that we are sitting here and asking the question, when is, how is planning done? So that if you don't come in and keep a check, there's a resource online somewhere, doesn't even have to be, it doesn't even need to be a class, just a resource someplace that walks people through this way.
I never thought of it like that. I do like that point. I do like it. How to get it done? I'm not gonna sit and say I know. But if you begin to put forth some points, we can figure out how to include them in the newsletter or whatever we need to do. But I do like that part. So folks can begin to identify and understand the process or processes for getting things done. I do like that. Yes.
Is this the open question section?
This is everything.
Okay, so.
We don't have.
Okay.
You asked what you like that.
Okay, all right. So does the county sponsor, shredding events, like identity theft, people go through your trash? So do the county support or have a shredding event for individual residents to bring their, like tax documents and other things to get them shredded? Do you all do that?
We do. We actually, and we began January 31st, it goes until March 31st. Write this number down, 770. Oh, wait, they'll tell me what I can do. Tell me what, and it will be in the newsletter. So make sure that everybody has signed in and has your email address so we can get your newsletter.
Ready.
Ready? 770-473-3945. And that is through the Clayton, 770-473-3945. That's through the Clayton County Extension Office. Okay, and that's for free tax preparation service. And it's a two appointment process. So, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about, well, I'll tell you what, taxes are just giving you free tax information. I'm misunderstood. I am actually trying to put together one name to go through and get that done. That would be easy. I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that, Tiddy. Let me clear my ears out a little bit. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay, but you all now know we're having the free tax preparation services, right? Okay, so we have that. Any other questions before we get ready to dismiss? Yes.
Right. When is it time to bring on your junk?
That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on next. So that's what we're gonna work on, and hopefully we'll have something done here in the near future. Yes, ma'am.
Question. And I saw that one of the ladies, one of the persons online asked this question about lighting. So when you're talking about all the funds that's coming into the county, can we get lighting or even studs in the road? Because some areas are very dark. So if it's not lighting, I know studs will also help, for traffic.
On I call them on our primary arteries, 1941, Highway 85, 138. Anytime we do a project, I'm mandating that lighting be put out with 8-foot wide side limits as well. So I am mandating that. We have to do better at getting this done because what I don't want is to have Chief coming up here talking about our pedestrian fatalities and other fatalities due to that. That is on us. That's not on him. He's just reporting, but it's on us to deliver these projects up there. As far as subdivisions, you can go ahead and create a petition for lighting in your subdivision. Now, the residents of that subdivision do pay that bill. And it's usually including your HOA fees, but that's what a lot of them are doing as well, for lighting within the subdivision. But we are working harder to begin to put lighting on these primary roads, and then we get down to our secondary roads. Prime example, Jericho, over there by the Taylor Road area. Walt Stevenson. But the thing is, we've got to begin to grow correctly. And before this gentleman leaves out quickly, I see him standing up. Our head of our library, do you want to come say anything about some of the programs we have in the library going? I was trying to think. I know. Just quickly.
Good morning, afternoon, actually. I'm Scott Parent, Director for the Clayton County Library System. Just to dovetail or piggyback what the Commissioner was saying, we're also working on an MOU now for tax prep services. So we should have that hopefully at the next board BOC meeting. So we will also be able to offer that to the community. Please check the website and social media. Stay up with us with our many programs. The first Monday of the month, I do offer a coffee with the librarian, where I speak about library issues as well as bring folks in from the community, and I interview them about the resources that they offer to the county. So stay tuned. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, hey, the coffee with the librarian is fantastic.
Thank you.
The guests you bring in, they actually provide answers for a lot of the questions we might have. So I've been really impressed with the diversity and variety that you bring in, and they answer so many questions. It's amazing.
Good. And please continue to come visit us. And for those that aren't able to physically come in, we do stream it live on our YouTube page, so you can catch it there as well. And I also took down some notes about some things that the library could offer as well, about teaching that class about how to be a resident. Perfect. And the shredding service also. So
Yeah, we're gonna put together that.
yes, ma'am. It's usually 11 a.m. to 12 or however long we're there till first Monday of the month. Yes, at the Battle Creek location. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Woo, this wet.
Yeah, we have some question online. Online question someone had?
Miss Eden?
Oh, yes. I had a question. It's not related to the library. It's related to, I'm from Brookview Village. We have a creek that runs through our community, and I spoke with a gentleman from the Water Authority, and he mentioned that this creek was a protected reserve. So we can't touch the creek. We can't, if I wanted to clean it up, can't clean it up. I just wanted to find out if there was any contact information for the person I could speak to get some work done with the creek. I'm not sure who's responsible for it. So do you have any insight on waterways or protected waterways within communities and who I can reach out to about that?
What I'll do is I'll look into that. Please contact our office so we can begin to figure out, because what I'm about to do when I leave here is to begin to drive through Riverdale and some other areas that are notorious for flooding, to see how this rain has impacted us over the last couple of days. So, Chief, you got something? Yes, and we can contact the Office of Resiliency as well. But if you get in contact with my office, we'll give you that number and get you that information, because this is something I also have to learn more about as well.
Okay, thank you.
When you come through the communities, can you please come through Brookview Village? We'd really appreciate it.
We'll say Brookview, will do.
Thank you.
You write this down. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
And it doesn't apply to the well, mine is about the zoning sign that I'm seeing in our community, and it's for a convenience store and fuel sale. It's on the corner of Battle Creek and Mount Zion Boulevard.
Yes.
And I'm trying to find out how we came about to do a convenience store in that area. We already have 5 others within a 2 to 3 block of that area. So why another convenience store?
Because they're proposing it. It has not been permitted as of yet. And that's how they build anything. I would just say it like this, they have an uphill battle to deal with. So hopefully that begins to address it. They're just proposing. This has not been approved at all. They're coming before the board. I believe it is it's March. It's the 3rd Monday in March.
Okay.
That's when all our zoning hearings. As far as the board, I believe that comes for a vote on in March.
Okay, so are those things looked at as far as the convenience stores that we already have in that area?
Yes, ma'am. That's how I would go engage a lot of proposed projects. And then we also have to look at what it's zoned for, because right now, I don't believe that they're not only asking for a permit to go in and build, they're also asking for a request to rezone that property.
All right, thank you.
Somebody had something back here? Yeah, you're also proposing, what you're speaking about is the large multifamily dwelling that's going up right there on Mount Zion. Correct. Any other questions? Concerns? All right. Yes, sir.
Just the one, please continue to have meetings here.
Yeah.
And try to, if it's as simple as figure out the acoustics or volume level, or maybe go to the small room behind us. Because this is a fantastic turn.
It is. Thank you. And we would try to begin to do some different things. I think what we need to do is we need to move throughout the district so that folks can easily get to it. Okay, so we're going to continue to do that. But what I want to say is thank you all for coming. Truly, 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 this is a blessing to have you all come out to me to begin to give me the information that I need in order to make myself a better commissioner for you. And I also want you all to remember, as the county leadership transitions during this season, we've got to be cognizant of that. But what I want to show you all is that no citizen I don't want any citizen to feel that they've been overlooked or forgotten. I don't care what district you are in. So if you need something, please reach out to my office so we can figure out a way to take care of your situation or begin to point you in the right direction to get it taken care of. So that's what I want to say. It doesn't matter what district. I'm the commissioner of Clinton County, and it's not just District 4 that I'm concerned. It's the entire county. So I want to make sure you all do have that. Is there anything else we needed, Denise? You good? All right, so that will be it. Let's remember, let's get out and vote. The last day for the presidential primary is Tuesday. Yeah, this Tuesday. So let's get out the vote. And let's begin to, let's read and keep ourselves up to date on what's going on with them. Thank you all.
Yes. If anyone's interested in being part of our citizen briefing gathering, just reach out to me in the back. That's where you learn all about the.
Come up here so you can hear me.
I was interrupted before, I had to run out and listen to
The captain. When I got promoted, I was in charge of community affairs. And as I explained to Ms. Kay and Ms. Charles, that neighborhood watch programs. I've noticed that a number of the neighborhood watch programs are either dormant or inactive. And what I mean by that is that I was in community affairs maybe roughly about 12 years ago, and we had a number of neighborhood watch programs. Now, I've reached out to a number of people that I've seen that we have, and those numbers are not correct. So what I'm trying to do is get some of these new programs started regarding neighborhood watch programs. So, like I said, if you're interested in the neighborhood watch program, please come and see me, and we can get that started. Also, Citizen Police Academy. If you're interested in being part of the Citizen Police Academy, just reach out to me also. Okay, I think that started in April. It's roughly 3 months, April or May, the plan to start the Citizen Police Academy. So I definitely, no, you probably mentioned it, but I definitely want you guys to be a part of the Citizen Police Academy, okay? So reach out to me, let's get that started. Nate, that's it's a Citizen Police Academy is actually what we actually do. Like I said, you learn all about policing, forensic, guns, investigation. It's all part of what the police department does. Like I said, it's like a 10-week program. And if you're very much interested in it, I can get that program started for you. We've had one pass. It was about 3 months ago. People graduated from it and it was very successful. So I definitely want to get that active. Okay. Also, neighborhood watch program, as a pharmacy chief, I got promoted, and my main position is to promote neighborhood watch programs. And like I said to Mr. Charles and Ms. Kane, that's what I want to do. So if anyone is interested in that, like I said, the numbers that I've sent out have not been active, okay? So please.
Give the folks online your number.
Yeah, my number is. Lieutenant Gary Simmons, Community Affairs. It's 470-451-8928.
Say that slowly.
And let's get that New York accent. 470-451-8928. Gary Simmons. Okay, like I said, just reach out to me, please. I'm gonna be back. We're gonna talk about it. So let's go ahead and get it started.
Thank you.
All right. So this has officially been our longest community meeting that we've ever had. 1 hour and 27 minutes. But thank you all for coming out, and we look forward to seeing you again. When is it? April 13th, 11 o'clock. Thank you all, and have a great dry weekend.
Yeah.